What childhood trauma causes anxiety? I'm Jessica Go, trauma coach in childhood abuse. There are 5 different types of childhood traumas, and each one of them create different forms of anxiety. And these anxieties show up depending on the trigger of the childhood trauma. Let me break it down for you. So the first childhood trauma is the deep intuitive, which occurs in utero, the birth trauma. So you experience a lot of shock, you don't feel safe in your body, and you don't feel safe being seen and noticed as a human being. You disconnect from humanity and you disconnect from your body. So you tend to escape off into another world to escape from trauma. How does this cause anxiety in you? It does it in a way where you disconnect from the physical world altogether when the shock of the trauma just gets too much. So it's that birth trauma that creates anxiety, feeling unwelcomed and unwanted by others. That's what triggers your anxiety. Childhood trauma number 2, the leading actor. This is all about being abandoned. You are either abandoned by being given up for adoption, you weren't breastfed, or you were breastfed, but you didn't have that emotional bonding with your mother. And how that shows up in terms of anxiety is that you hold on to people for dear life. You hate the thought of being alone for the rest of your life, or even now. So you rely on people to give you love and nurturance that you desire, that you didn't get from your mother. So this creates codependency. As soon as that person leaves, that's when your abandonment anxiety is being triggered, or when that person hasn't left yet, but they haven't shown signs that they're interested in you, that triggers up your anxiety. Then you've got childhood trauma number 3, the humanitarian, which occurs when you're a toddler. And this is 18 months to 3 years of life. You were suppressed of your emotions, thoughts, and ideas because you had a mother who manipulated you, controlled you, and overprotected you, where you had to be a good boy or a good girl, a people pleaser. And she was highly critical of you because you weren't meeting her expectations. So this trigger shows up in terms of anxiety is that you don't want to get too close to people. You rather be free on your own. And even that is a lonely road because you're not feeling into your own self-worth. So it's a catch-22. At the same time, you want that human connection, you want to be a part of a community, but you also want your freedom, and you don't know how to manage the two. Number 4, the status quo. Having that special relationship with the opposite sex parent between ages of 4 to 7. You were invalidated and rejected by them. You were made special. You became their partner. You were romanticized. Or perhaps there was this sexual chemistry between you and the opposite sex parent. And what happens is the anxiety that shows up is in relationships. I'm talking about romantic relationships where it's hard to be intimate, or if you were to be intimate and vulnerable and expose your heart, that it doesn't feel safe. And when you get rejected by putting your heart on your sleeve, then the trauma is just too overwhelming for you, and you hate the thought of being rejected again. So it's easier to stay in short-term relationships or in flings than to be in a long-term relationship where it's intimate and the connection is super close. Childhood trauma number 5, the leader. So in the first 8 years of life, you were humiliated and betrayed by the people that you trust. This could be your parents, your siblings, authority figures, friends, neighbors. And what triggers you is not being in control. So if you are feeling chaotic internally and in your environment, you will find ways to control yourself and the outcome and the environment and others in order for you to feel safe. The trigger shows up for you when you do not trust yourself and others. You put a guard up and you push people away. You have trust issues, and that's not getting you very far in life because you need trust within yourself and within others for you to be supported in your journey ahead. If this sounds like you, if you resonate with any of the 5 childhood traumas and the anxiety that's associated with it, and you've tried clinical therapy or self-development and it hasn't got you the results that you're looking for, you're ready to fall out of panic, stop reoccurring nightmares, and reduce your anxiety and anger levels drug-free in order for you to make peace with your past, then you might consider working with me one-to-one in a 3-month mentorship called Find Yourself and Trust. I only have 1 spot left for this sacred container for you to free up the pain of trauma and suppressed emotions so you can start living your best life. If you would like to learn more by booking in a free clarity call just below, you can click on the link and it will bring you to a different page to fill in a quick questionnaire to book in the call. This call is on Zoom and it's just you and me. However, I want to be clear that I don't take on anyone, and this requires a large sum of investment, energy, and time for you to experience long-lasting results. So if this sounds like you, please apply. Please do not feel rejected if I decide to decline the call. It's because I don't feel we're the right match to work together. As I've mentioned before, I don't just take on anyone. You have to be in a point in your life right now where you are ready to let go of your past and the pain in order for you to transform your identity and upgrade all areas of your life. This is for a very driven, switched on, motivated, and coachable individual. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button, then the bell icon, then the all button for you to receive the latest notifications around childhood abuse. And remember to be the light that's in your heart.